Welcome back, Mistake listeners. This is Dave, and this is episode 45, and our second episode in 2016. This week, we actually put our list of worst episodes or shows that we watched this last year. This episode was recorded on December 2nd, 2016. You can actually follow us on Twitter at Parent Mistakes. And you can like us on Facebook at Parenting Mistakes. Like I said, this is part 2 of Best and Worst. Sit back and enjoy the show. Alright, we're back. And as promised, part 2 of our Best and Worst of 2015. But this would be the worst. Now, again, to clarify, is this the worst of our shows?
This is the worst shows that we watched.
Right.
Because we didn't love everything that we watched.
Oh my word, no. Not at all, right?
In fact, I think we're fairly upbeat, positive people, but I think overall we probably disliked more than we liked. Is that fair? That'd be a hard stat right there to easily come up with.
I obviously did some reviewing this week, and what was weird about picking the quote-unquote worst, which the worst, and I'm sure you and I will be on the same page on this, was easy. But it gets a little bit weird in that, okay, again, we don't have any stipulations as of right now. We don't have, alright, so we go over, like, was it the best art? Was it the best acting? Was it the best direction? Was it the best, writing? We don't have that kind of criteria. This is more, well, literally it is from our gut, right?
Correct.
And also kind of like reviewing what, in our minds, what we reviewed. Like, what did I have to quote-unquote endure? But when I say endure, there are shows that I went, wow, that there just isn't a whole lot there.
Correct.
Right? Like, and does that make it a bad show? Or just, fluff, right?
Because we certainly enjoy fluff every once in a while.
Sure.
I enjoy fluff.
So I think for me personally, it was more like, it really came down to this, Todd. What was the most offensive thing? What were the things that just kind of made me almost mad?
Sure.
Like, wow, this just should not be on television, or please don't waste your time here because, wow, this is a black hole for society, right?
Correct.
I mean, what was some of your criteria when evaluating some of the quote-unquote worst? Well, I want to say worst. It's the worst, not quote-unquote. Plato worst.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of appropriateness for children, entertainment value, and I think to a certain extent, I'm not as worried about, when I look at this type of stuff, I'm not as worried about the artistry. I know you have more of an eye for the art and the animation and that sort of thing, because I know kids will watch just about anything regardless of the quality of the production. It's more about, as you said, is there anything there?
Yep.
Because we watch some shows that are just so dumb that we just say, I'm just fairly certain this is going to lower my kid's IQ, no matter what.
Right.
There is nothing there. So.
And okay, so just a little caveat there. Yes, I used to review things more based on art, but you are right, and we did get some feedback on that, and I think I just put art in there for...
No, and I think looking at the production value is certainly a good criteria because, we want our kids to appreciate refinement. We want them to appreciate, color and design and that sort of thing, and what's being sort of, presented to them over time. So.
Well, that's tough. It's really tough because I would say the majority of the Hanna-Barbera since the late 60s all the way through the 80s is just horrible animation.
Well, it's the same. It's just similar. They just...
Yeah, it's just a style I could not stand.
They picked a style and just stuck with it.
The lazy style.
Because it worked.
It's lazy. Oh.
All right. Hey, but you know what? The kids are playing Minecraft, so there you go.
That's true.
All right.
All right.
Our list.
So
you wanna go first?
Worst for number
5.
For number 5. This is so we're going to give you our worst shows and a reason why we put them in their respective slots, right?
Yes. And we're
So
going to go 5-1.
5. So number 5 for me was Voltron Force.
All right.
Voltron Force gets number 5 for me because of all of its wasted potential. They had a lot of cool ideas, a lot of cool concepts, and the whole entire show blew it in every way. And it becomes unentertaining immediately when you realize that there is actually nothing that can take down the Voltron Force. Nothing. There is no Jeopardy, there's no... And it's one of the cooler shows, in my opinion, from the 80s that just gets totally wasted on this new show. Waste of time.
And we've seen this before where someone takes a brand that was popular in the past and does a revamp of it in the future, and it's sort of a poor man's version of it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They just sort of say, hey, I think the brand will just carry it.
Yep.
And in some cases it might.
In this case, I hope not. And it didn't. It's been canceled. It's gone.
All right. Mine is a similar theme, but a different show. Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Whew. Really? Number 5? Should have been higher. Should have been higher.
Yeah, okay. Well.
Now I'm really curious. What's up there for you?
Yeah. Same idea. The old show was good. The movie that was out a couple of years ago was great. Really enjoyed it. But this version is just kind of dumb. It's kind of a high-octane, cheap laughs, stereotypes. It's just ick. So there you go. For lack of a more scholarly word.
Right.
Ick. All right. Okay. What do you got? Should we alternate? You want to go?
Yeah. So this is we're at number 4, and I think you're up first, right?
All right.
For
My number 4 was Some Assembly Required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all I gotta say is it was just kind of dumb.
That's my favorite Todd statement.
You
just gotta say it, Dave. It's just dumb.
It's just dumb.
Mine.
You take sort of the standard sort of, teen comedy genre and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Forced. Just not entertaining.
Mine was Austin and Ally.
Oh, how dare you take on the mouse. Take down the Disney product.
Sorry, I had a cold over Christmas. Woohoo! So I'm still getting over that, folks. Austin and Ally, which was kind of our first introduction to a lot of the Disney standard that we learned over the year, which is absent parenting.
Yes.
And teens that I don't even know why they're friends, right? Like they're just continually backbiting, and the ever-present tween Disney snarkiness, all wrapped up into this show. I think Austin and Ally are fine at the center of it. There's some interesting ideas there, but at the end of the day, it's just offensive.
Yes.
To my parenting senses. I mean, that was the episode we watched in which their dad had stopped by during the night to look at them.
Yes.
And then left a cell phone or something when he went to go fishing.
Right. They were out in the houseboat in the swamp with the killer alligator.
There's an alligator that's attacking the houseboat. I mean, it's memorable, right? Oh, my word. I'm not trying to defend the show.
It's all right.
Don't watch it. Number 4.
Number 4. Okay, your number 3 was?
Some Assembly Required.
Hey!
And what I'll add to what you said earlier was, obviously, old people are stupid. That was the other thing that we learned from that show, was that if you're elderly and you run a bank, you're pretty much just going to be giving money away to people.
Yes, you are going to be thwarted by a bunch of clever teenagers.
Clever. They're idiots too, right?
Well, it's true. Less idiotic than the old people.
If it wasn't for the writers, the show wouldn't happen. My gosh. Like you're totally sitting there watching that show and you're thinking to yourself, the only reason this is happening is because someone wrote and told the actors to do it. That is never what you want for the show. It's the opposite.
Okay, my number 3 is The Day My Butt Went Psycho.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, now I'm really fascinated as to what your number 1 is. Yeah?
Yeah, horrible premise, just, I don't know what it is, but when it comes to kids, because I know this is still going to be targeted at kids, bathroom humor, where the whole thing is bathroom humor.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around that.
No, it's a gimme for sure.
It's a gimme. So just, I don't know, that one just sort of, the title in and of itself.
Yeah, The Day That My Butt Went Psycho.
Went psycho.
I'll give it this. I will say it'd be interesting to see what the book actually was like. Like why this book was so magical that they decided to animate the series based on this book.
Correct.
I mean, it might be like Walter the Farting Dog, right? Which in a book form is kind of clever. Have you read Walter the Farting Dog?
I have not.
Okay. Someday pick it up, but it'd be like basically this dog that can't fart. Or can't fart. It can fart. Oh, forget it. Anyway.
It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they made a whole show on it, and ugh. All right. So are we at number 2?
We're at number 2.
Did you want to talk more about Psycho Butt?
No.
Okay. Number 2 for me was Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Oh, there you go.
And the reason I put it at number 2 was that I found it actually racially offensive.
Yes, it was.
I found it incredibly historically offensive, right?
Yes.
Like everything about it was pretty much a white dog with a white boy going back into history and just basically insulting everybody that had any sort of ethnicity and
Yes.
or insulting them because they're just primitive, because they're out of time.
Right. All the past civilizations were caricatures of simplicity and.
I'll be honest with you, I think parents need to watch out a lot for this kind of stuff because it creeps in there, and this should not be on television. It's disgusting. It's just offensive, and it's, dare I say, racist. I hadn't said it on the show, but the more time I've had from it, I'd say there it is, the statement of, it's just racist, just gross.
Okay.
Whew, that's a heavy statement for this show, but hey, it's best and worst, right? So
That's right. Okay, my number 2. Do you want to guess?
number 2, I have no idea. No idea. I really don't. I thought we'd have similar lists.
All right. Number 2 for me was The Amazing World of Gumball.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
And again, I went with the appropriateness factor because it's got so much there that I don't want kids watching. If you're a college student,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why college students would watch this.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of goofy, oddball humor, and they could sort of put it in context. But, between the characters and what they're doing and how they're acting and fighting with police and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I know where they're going. I mean, this is one of those things where
I
you
forgot
laugh,
about that. Right.
you laugh at it because, yeah, it's funny and it's clever, but then you sort of feel bad about laughing at it because it's like off-color humor. Someone tells you a joke and you sort of chuckle to yourself because you understand the humor, but in your brain you kind of go, that shouldn't be funny to me because I know it's offensive and it's not the type of content I'm going to repeat to anybody else.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Certainly was not my number 2.
All right, you're number 2.
Well, I think didn't I just say my number 2?
Oh, you did, didn't
Yeah,
you?
Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Did I
Yes,
say that?
okay.
Yeah. Sorry, we got the list up.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, number 1.
Number 1 for sure. I think that you're up for number 1. No, you just did. No. You're up for number 1. What's your number 1, dude?
Number 1. I think it's gonna be the same as your number 1.
No,
I could
it's
be
not.
wrong.
No.
It's not.
No. I know it's not.
Okay, my number 1 was Uncle Grandpa.
All right, I didn't put Gumball or Uncle Grandpa on the list because I would hope as a parent the minute you saw these shows that you would just run for the hills. Right? Like, why put...
Yeah, I'm not going to give people that much credit.
The reason I put the shows that I put show down is that you think that they're safe and they're not. Right?
Okay.
So my number 1
right.
was, of course, The Day My Butt Went Psycho is my number 1. And that's not a very safe show at all, right? Even the title
Right.
is suggestive, like, hey, you're probably going to get into a lot of bathroom humor just by default.
Right.
But I think, and the more I think about it, the reason I don't like Psycho or Sherman are there for the same reasons, is that there are some messages in there that are really kind of heavy-handed, and they're just downright offensive. and kids could walk away from it going, wow, what did I just learn there? You actually, it's a negative learn if you could do that. It's not a learn plus, it's a learn negative.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that parents could be deceived in that, oh, it's kind of a cutesy cartoon, this and everything, but there are some, like, for example, again, with the butts, it's the fact that the butts who are actually subservient to the people that used to have butts are just treated horribly, right? So these butts grow identities, and suddenly there's a whole new race of butts, and they're just treated like dirt, right? They're just, yeah. And I go, there's a lot more going on there, and it's really, really not appropriate for children, or anybody for that matter.
Okay.
And it's not funny.
So for me, I picked Uncle Grandpa because I don't just assume people are going to know better, even if they watch it for a little bit.
Sure.
The title in and of itself is not necessarily offensive. It's a little strange because you sort of say, what's going on here? Uncle Grandpa, I don't understand. And when you see the character initially, you just sort of say, oh, well, it's kind of a goofy cartoon character. That whole show is kind of this frantic weirdness.
Sure.
And you're watching and going, I don't even know what's going on here. You know,
yeah, what was it? Who farted rainbows?
The tiger, the leopard. Yeah, it was a tiger.
It's farting rainbows, right?
Yeah, the two-dimensional drawn tiger.
Yeah. No, I had a great moment this last year in that my daughter had turned on Uncle Grandpa. Like, she was flipping through Netflix, and there it was. She hit it. I came into the room and went, whoa! It was great, right? Everything that we do for the show, I knew exactly what was going on, and I'm like, sorry, you just can't watch this show because
Can't watch the show.
It's not for anybody. If you were 44, I would not let you watch this show. Oh my word!
So there's the worst.
So that was the worst. That's our worst list for 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to 2016, Todd.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
We got some good stuff coming up this year, I think. Yeah.
We do have good stuff coming up.
We do.
We're not going to tell people what it is yet because they have to just tune in and find out.
That's right.
Lots of big surprises.
Well, part of the surprise, too, is you guys. If you guys give us some stuff, I mean, we are willing to watch a lot of children's programming. Trying to be really careful this year because they'll say we'll watch anything and keep getting myself in trouble there.
We never promise that we'll watch anything.
Yeah.
All right, you can follow us on Twitter because we tweet. We're going to start tweeting a little bit more.
Yes.
We're going to try to start tweeting a little bit more. Some
New Year's resolution stuff.
Some wisdom for you out there, some comments about parenting. So Parent Mistakes is our Twitter handle, or you can like us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is out there.
Yep.
And it's time to get started on our New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
So we're out.